Beneath silent hills and unmarked land, far away from the noise of cities, lie doors made of cold steel. They look ordinary, some hidden behind barns, some beneath wild grass. But behind those doors are entire worlds that most people will never see. Worlds built not for comfort, but for survival. If the end of civilization ever came, where would the richest people on Earth go? And what does that say about the rest of us? For decades, stories of secret bunkers have lingered at the edge of rumor. But in the last 20 years, those rumors have become something far more real. Across the world, billionaires have been quietly building underground shelters, vast compounds designed to outlast disaster, collapse, or even the end of humanity itself. Sounds like science fiction, but it isn't. From the deserts of Nevada to the green fields of New Zealand, construction records, satellite images, and leaked blueprints confirm the truth. The ultra-rich are preparing for something the rest of us can only imagine. Once, these bunkers were relics of the Cold War, built by governments to protect political leaders from nuclear attack. But after decades of silence, the idea returned in a new form, not as a public safety measure, but as a private investment. After the attacks of 9/11, fear became a market. Engineers began selling security as a luxury product. In Kansas, a former missile silo was transformed into what was called the Survival Condo Project, a vertical fortress buried deep beneath the American plains. Each floor was sold as a private apartment, complete with swimming pools, gyms, cinemas, and digital windows showing the sky outside. Within months, they were sold out, bought by CEOs, hedge fund managers, and entrepreneurs who believed the world was becoming unpredictable. By 2018, entire companies were dedicated to turning fear into architecture. Firms like VivoS, Rising S, and Oppitum began marketing designer bunkers to the world's elite. The promise was simple: if the world collapses, you and your family will not. Then came 2020. A global pandemic swept across borders and economies fell into uncertainty. Suddenly, the idea of isolation didn't feel like paranoia, it felt like preparation. Sales of private bunkers tripled that year. Helicopters carried clients to remote estates. Underground cities grew beneath farmland. One facility in Europe was rumored to have its own underground lake and hydroponic gardens that could feed 100 people for 5 years. According to property records and verified reports, these bunkers are real, hidden under company names, protected by non-disclosure agreements, and guarded like military bases. The price of entry? Between £3 and £10 million. What's inside varies, but the concept is always the same: complete self-sufficiency. Air systems that filter nuclear dust. Walls thicker than vaults. Power generated by renewable systems, food grown underground, and communication networks independent of the internet. Some even feature art galleries, wine cellars, and wellness rooms designed to simulate sunlight. But for every innovation, a question remains: why? What exactly are these people preparing for? Nuclear war? Climate collapse? Artificial intelligence? Or simply the slow decay of trust in global systems? The truth may be simpler: control. For those who already have everything, fear of losing it becomes the last fear left. And when money can buy nearly anything, safety becomes the ultimate status symbol. In interviews, bunker designers describe their clients as optimistic survivalists, people who believe technology and planning can outthink chaos. One builder explained that many of his clients request secret tunnels leading to private airstrips. Another said his projects often include armories and drone launch pads. None of this is illegal, but it paints a picture of quiet preparation that most of the world will never be invited to join. Critics see it differently. They argue that private survival is the final form of inequality. That while billionaires prepare to outlast collapse, the rest of humanity is left to face it head-on. To them, bunkers represent a moral escape, an admission that the wealthy no longer believe society can be fixed, only abandoned. Supporters, however, defend it as rational. They say if you have the means, it's simply insurance. Just as one might own a yacht or a second home, why not an underground one? But experts warn that even the richest cannot truly escape the world above. Systems break, air filters fail, isolation corrodes the mind. A psychologist once noted that the human brain is not built for endless confinement. It needs risk, change, and other people to stay sane. In a sealed bunker, even paradise can feel like a prison. Still, the business grows. Entire industries now cater to the art of survival. Companies design off-grid luxury packages, complete with solar farms, underground spas, and security staff trained in crisis response. One estimate places the global market for survival architecture at nearly £1 billion annually and rising. Meanwhile, in quiet towns, locals whisper about strangers buying land in cash. Trucks arrive, dig for months, and vanish. No one knows what's being built beneath their feet. For some, it's just another rumor. For others, it's a sign of a world quietly dividing itself in two, the surface and the underground. The imagery is haunting. Above ground, communities struggle with rising costs and collapsing systems. Below ground, a few prepare to live forever. Two worlds existing side by side, separated not by distance, but by wealth. Sociologists call it the architecture of fear. They argue that these bunkers are not simply shelters, they're monuments to mistrust. Each reinforced door symbolizes the belief that humanity cannot come together in crisis. That survival is no longer collective, but private. Yet, history shows that humanity has always built shelters. From the caves of prehistory to the bunkers of the Cold War, every generation has tried to protect itself from the unknown. Perhaps the bunker is just the modern version of that instinct, our 21st century cave, built with concrete instead of stone, and powered by fear instead of fire. But the question lingers, what happens if these shelters are ever used? Experts outline three possibilities. The first is almost certain: growth. As global instability rises, demand for private bunkers will continue to climb. Designs will become smarter, deeper, greener, and even more luxurious. Some architects already speak of eco-bunkers, underground cities running on renewable energy and artificial daylight. The second possibility is regulation. Governments could step in, requiring transparency about what's built underground. Environmental laws might challenge private bunkers that disturb natural water tables or farmland. Public debate may question whether survival should ever be a private privilege. And the third scenario, the darkest, is that one day they're actually needed, that something so vast and global happens that those doors of steel finally close. The rich retreat below, leaving the rest of the world above. What would civilization look like then? Who would emerge years later to rebuild? No one can say for sure, but one truth remains constant. Even for the rich, no wall is thick enough to escape the human condition. Money can buy safety, but not certainty. Comfort, but not connection. Maybe that's the paradox of the billionaire bunker. It promises life without danger, but also life without living. When the doors seal shut, there will be silence. No weather, no strangers, no chaos, just the hum of machines pretending to be the world. And perhaps that is the real price of survival. Because in the end, these bunkers tell a story not of apocalypse, but of fear of change, fear of loss, fear of one another. They show how even in an age of progress, we still build walls when we could build bridges. Maybe the richest people on Earth aren't preparing for the end of the world. Maybe they're preparing for a world that's already ending, the one where trust, community, and empathy still mattered. If you'd like to see how wealth shapes survival in other ways, watch our next story, The Billionaire Who Tried to Build His Own Country. All details in this story are drawn from public reports, government records, and credible journalism. Ongoing investigations and private data remain unverified. This documentary makes no claims beyond what evidence supports. It simply asks the question, when the world ends, who decides who gets to start again?